Powered by Riverside.
That looks like a dog right here.
All right. Here we are, College Football Show, episode 11. Missed a couple weeks there. A lot of busyness, a lot of craziness with the insurance season and everything going on.
Sadly,
One
we have
thing,
lives.
you got Weeds over there still kind of rocking Gatorish colors. I'm still rocking
Mm.
Oklahoma jersey, even though we've had some tough seasons. But just like the election, Kamala loses, and they're gonna keep fighting. You keep fighting. You keep fighting for what you believe in. You fight no matter what happens. So
Yep.
I ain't
Yep.
shying away. This is what I
Even if
believe
you
in,
got 4 more years to think about it, you keep fighting.
and just like us, and
I
that
guess.
we didn't show up. We didn't have a plan. We stink. That's okay. It's all right. Politics aside, who cares about that stuff? But yeah. So
Nobody cares.
our teams are kind of in the dumps right now. Horrible injuries, everything. But this is the college football.
Well, the difference is your team's in the dumps, and I don't agree that they should, but they could still fire their coach. Whereas my team is in the dumps, and they're saying
press releases every week or
they're
whatever.
playing. Hey, we're thrilled to have them back. Well, yeah, 15 and 18 is that the number now? Well, could have been 19. So, wow, Mullen got fired, and he was what? I don't know, like roughly 35 and 18 or something.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I mean,
insane. Yeah,
that's the Mullen thing's horrible. Yeah,
yeah. Well, he made a dumb recruiting statement, and they went 4-8, and ever since Marco Wilson
with our teams being out, it's tough. It's never this. Obviously, we
never happens.
Playoffs every year. It never happens like this, where especially with Oklahoma, where like it's early November, like we're out, no little way to and that was with a 14 playoff. We always found a loophole, a way to sneak in. Now it's like not even close. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
No, we were saying this is like the first time ever, and maybe this will be for years, that Oklahoma and Florida are not. I mean, I don't remember last time that was like. I don't think they ever lost on the same weekend. Like now they just lose every week.
Now, so it is what it is. We're college football people. We love our team. Now we just got to delve into the craziest season ever. It's
real quick.
It's going to keep getting better and better.
Yep, real quick. Usually you get your intro and all that, but you do more Barstool than me, but especially like the guys Big Cat and all. But did you see the Florida thing? That the Florida teams were 0-11, all college and pro. For Sunday night, and obviously,
I did see that.
And then Miami won. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was a great pull by them. Great pull.
Yeah, I don't know who posted that for Barstool. Yeah,
I don't ever think again. It's like, did Florida, Miami, and Florida State ever lose in the same weekend? Like,
there's no way all 11 have ever. There's probably wasn't ever a time where they were 2-9 even.
There wasn't ever a time that the college teams ever all lost.
That is insane. But yeah, so here we go. So let's jump into this. We are going into 3 weeks remaining the regular season. We got the college football projected bracket here. I did look into. We have the. Let me pull up the rankings. There's no team outside of the top 25 can make it in besides like a weird Arizona State, West Virginia, if they went out and get help and win their conference. Other than that,
you got that right.
Here on like a 20 teams, we're pretty set on that now.
Yeah.
So, what stands out to you with the rankings, which I don't even really care too much about the rankings right now.
The overarching thing is nobody could have imagined the depth of teams and the difference in teams just in the names alone. Obviously, Boise preseason was. Of the top picks of the non-group of 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it.
Not our picks, yeah.
No. But they were, they were probably the average. We usually don't pick the top pick. We want to pick some, but still, they were there. Yeah. Well, yeah, but obviously nobody had Indiana on their radar. And then you could have picked Miami. Obviously, it was one of the top, probably 2 or 3, if not, 2 probably behind Clemson, and then BYU, and then again a lot of hate even especially from your end. On Notre Dame to start the year, kind of at least having to go 11-1, if not run the table. So definitely a little different there.
crushed A&M, and now A&M's right
Yeah.
there. It is crazy.
Yep. So that, and then I will say, so both arguments can be right, that you're getting a little more parity and you're getting a little more spice in different teams that have a chance to be in, even though it's still going to be pretty blue-bloodish. So both can be true. But at the same time, it goes back to my argument. Two things. There's no way, if you wanted to reward the best teams in this and not just get everybody in advance, that you would have the conference winners, which I agree, whatever. That's how you had to put it together. But, clearly you have those two now at 3 and 4, and they wouldn't be the 3 and 4 seed. Nobody's arguing that. Second of all, just because you have more teams doesn't mean you're still not going to have the cream rise to the top, because I don't think anybody's going to take, maybe Miami with their scoring and their ability. Nobody obviously would be taking BYU in a certain matchup against any of those lower seeded now SEC teams. So, cool. You got 12, but like I kind of thought, you're backloaded with all that depth of SEC, and nobody wants to play any of those freaking teams, whether they're getting 2 or 3 losses or 1 loss. That's my overarching argument for the whole thing. I just didn't like, and this is probably a stupid argument, but it's my most passionate play. You're giving teams the ability to lose probably this year too. Maybe a third game, backdoor their way in. If you're a top 5 team to start the year and everybody thinks you're one of the best in the country, you can lose 2 to 3, get healthy, miss your conference championship game. Then who freaking wants to see Georgia or Alabama late in the year, whether they're a road team or not? That's why I'm not a fan. As awesome as the games are going to be, as great as it is going to be, see a game before Christmas and see games on college campuses in a playoff. Absolutely. I don't like it how it rewards those teams back in. And that's
you're calling out this squad, Penn State. You're calling out Penn State, which is it's egregious if you look at the top 5.
Well, if they go 11 and 1, and their 1 loss is by what?
You're saying if they have 2 losses, they still might get it. Like that's. Well,
yeah,
the whole thing's
I told you before the year, Penn State can probably go 10 and 2. Like they lost the Ohio State game. Cool, lose 1 more. I don't see how you're 13. Unless you have 5.
The Big Ten has 1, 2, 4, and 5. Indiana has to be, even though you didn't play anyone. So I don't know. Penn State shouldn't be, but you only lost to Ohio State. Ohio State only lost to number 1 Oregon. So they just get lucky with their schedule. The SEC is 3 and 1 against the Big Ten. It means nothing. They don't play each other. So we don't even know what the.
No, they just murder each other, which is they murder each other. It's not their fault. But you're going to put 5 SEC teams in, and I don't know how.
Each other, and that's what happened. They might get 5, and it's insane.
Yeah. So I guess we just wanted more games, and that's really what we're getting. Is the point? You're getting to see more of these games.
Yeah, the team I'm excited.
And maybe some rematches, right? Depending on IU and them and how that balances out, you could see Oregon.
Yeah, and there's a thing where, like, all right, if you make the SEC could have 7 teams at 10 and 2, right?
Of course.
It could happen. They could have 6 realistically. If A&M beats 6, they could have 6. But if you make the conference championship in the SEC, you're 10 and 2, and you lose, you're in, right? Unless you lost to the.
No, you're out. No, you're out now, because if Georgia was the best team on earth last year and they were undefeated and only lost the title by, even though there was only 4 teams, they were no. So you're out.
Well, yeah, no.
In this model, you lose, you're out.
If you lose in the, but if you're Tennessee and you're number 5 or 4 going into the SEC championship, and you lose, it depends. If you lost to the
Georgia, it depends because you beat Bama, so we'll see.
If you're 10 and 3, lost to the Big or SEC championship, and the team that's number 10 or 12 or whatever beat you and is 10 and 2, that's going to be the biggest cluster. That's going to be the craziest.
Yeah, well, they're definitely going to reward the team that won the head-to-head, and of course the team that lost the SEC championship game. I think that, to me,
but they could be a 10 and 2 that beat
the
SEC.
Yeah, well, if it's the flip, then it's a little bit of a different argument because they beat them on the field.
The other 10 and 2 team beat the other 10 and 2 team. The whole thing's going to be crazy.
No, the questions are great. I think any idiot can use the argument however they want, right? Whether it sounds right or not, because this is talking season, and that's part of the best part of college football, which sounds crazy, but that's what it is, this discussion. But now it gets crazier. I'm not going to mourn any team that finishes 13th. I've already said that. Save one. SMU runs away, I would love them to be in, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, crazy. Yeah, the fact that they got to get that ironed out, and this is something I could see for the future. It's like stuff with government and all, and election and everything. You get there in the SEC, you get battered and bruised, and you finish in the top 2 seed. So you have all these 2-loss teams, a couple 3, and you're the 2 seed, ranked whatever you want in the country, 5th or 9th, and you lose that game by 3, and you're bounced because you had to play an extra game. That is hell on earth right there.
That's crazy. So I just saw an article on MSN, and the winners and losers of the week. One of the losers they had was Indiana, because they only moved up from 8 to 5.
Yeah,
and they're undefeated.
big loser.
I get it. You're undefeated, and there's 2 teams ahead of you in your conference with a loss. You played nobody. I think you're happy with 5. That was stupid. And then the other one was Georgia loser.
Well, it's MSN.
They could be. They said Georgia could be. They're probably the prime candidate to be 10-2 and not make the playoff. If they beat Tennessee, they're making the playoff no matter what. That was stupid.
That's dumb. Yeah, Tennessee's in a tough spot because they Bama's soaring right now, and could get into that spot. And then if you're Georgia, your only argument is Ole Miss has got a good track, so they might very well be in. And then your only other loss was an awesome comeback against Bama, and everybody still thinks they're great.
Yeah. So let's do a little exercise, and we'll get into some of the matchups and what we think is going to happen here. What I want to do is I want to see what we think the best 5 teams are in the country in the order, the next 5, and the next 5 up to 25. So I got it on here. We have to agree. So if you're still
not gonna lie, I have not even really acknowledged that. So this will be fun. It'll be it'll be off the cuff.
And it has
the kids' toy.
It has nothing.
Play with the kids' pizza cutter. Feel like Portnoy or something.
So we're gonna go over Art and McAdams top 5, 6 through 10, 11. But it has nothing to do with who you play. Nothing to do with, well, of course, I guess how you played. Who we think the best 5 teams in the country are, skillfully, whatever. Obviously, including injuries, sure. So what we think the best 5 chances of winning it all, or not chances of making it, the best 5 teams in the country. So let's do that now. Let me pull this up. Let's do this.
Okay.
See if you can see this here. And can you see that here? Hold on. Try to click around here. Okay. So do you see that here? I'm going to step away from my screen. That is, let me go to.
That's a list right there.
Down a little bit. Let me.
Total list.
So let's do.
Something we still haven't figured out is huge. You figure that out. Why I asked the group a question. The group of 20 people.
We can look at all this. Okay, you got this, right?
Can you still hear me? Or are we losing that here?
I can hear you. You're good.
All right. Well.
So what we have here. So
still haven't answered one.
What's that?
Still haven't answered one question.
Good.
Which is very interesting to me. And you're the guy. You're the brain guy here. How have we gone from it's not a bye, one idle week this year to everybody getting 2? we haven't figured that out.
But it is, Oklahoma's off this week, Bama, then they play each other. Yeah, it's
Florida got their 2 in 4 weeks. I mean, it's Ole Miss played a huge game, now has an idle and gets a dormant Florida and Mississippi State. Just interesting. Anyway, that's all. We still haven't figured that out. Maybe we can get one commenter. Let's get one commenter who knows something down there.
Well,
throw that out. I'd love to get a zinger.
No one's watching us yet, but once people watch us, we'll get a comment.
I get that. But if we did get one that saw that for 30 seconds and answered, that'd be cool.
Yeah, if they know the answer, we don't, then
they should have it.
That's pretty impressive. But
yeah, it is.
But they line it up pretty good. Like the bye weeks, everyone kind of has a bye week, then you play the other team. In both buys, or the bye week and the.
All right, I guess the way to do this would be the tops first. Sadly, you usually want to do those last.
So let me get into this. So here's the rankings. Right, here's 1 through 5 in order. Here's 6 through 15 in order, and 16 and 20 in the college football rankings right here.
Well, all we have to do is okay.
But we have to agree on stuff. So if you're going to take something I don't like it, then you got to give me something else because
Well, how many go in which section? Okay. All right.
You have any no-brainer? Because even if you have a no-brainer, it might not be my no-brainer. That's how crazy this is. Do we have anything?
Yeah, but is one all right? But is one?
Can we agree on Oregon? Is in the top 5 best teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go in this row yet, so let's go lower. Um, I don't know. You give me one and place them, and then we'll see if we agree.
Well,
The best teams in the country, just best talent. Nothing to do with if you're going to make the playoff or
I
anything.
would go. I like where they're at. I think they're in,
There's
and I
nothing to
like
do
their
with that, though.
quarterback.
Okay.
What? No,
There's nothing
I
to do with
like
it.
where
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
No. I like where they're. To me, they're in, but that has to matter this much. They're in, so I think for them to go, they can win the national championship. Is my point. And I liked them earlier, and they had their slight couple losses, and I like them even more now. They got the quarterback, they have the line play, they have the toughness, they can play defense, and I love Old Miss.
I put them up there before you said it. I knew what you were saying
Good
there, and
job.
I completely
Yep.
agree on that. As the
Yep.
top 5 team in the country, nothing to do with chances of getting in. The team could be. It could
No,
be.
I got you.
South Carolina is not going to be in the
Yeah.
bottom tier 5 here. Correct? Like
Yep.
they're
Yep.
they're probably going to be. We'll just preliminarily throw them here, but who knows? They could go up one. Who
Sure.
knows?
All right, go next.
All right, we'll just do them. We'll flip them around. I'm not ready to put Ohio State in yet because I have an argument they might not be in the top 5 teams in the country. But we can talk. Let's throw. We
There's a
got
lot
some
of not
stuff.
juggernaut
All right,
teams.
so
There's
let's
a
do
lot
this.
of
This
not
is
tier
pretty
one
easy.
teams.
It's pretty easy to do this. So we'll put a Washington. We'll put a no order for the tiers. So Louisville is definitely
Yeah, get Louisville, Tulane, Wazoo, and
Army. Yeah,
probably
Wazoo for
Missouri.
sure.
Watch,
Yeah, and
Missouri will win out and make the playoff, but I don't have them there.
the only argument for Missouri could be maybe like a Colorado or Kansas State. Who's better? Who would you pick right now in neutral field? That's really the question. Missouri or Colorado or Kansas State?
If you're saying that, it's a good question. I would take
Yeah.
Missouri.
Who would you take? Kansas State. Kansas State beat them. I'd still put Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado, impressive season. I think they
Yep.
are in that tier. That
Yep.
um. So Kansas State, that would default them to tier 4. Jeez, now it gets crazy. Let's start throwing them around. What do you think? Let's pick
I
our
say
top 5.
SMU's up with those guys. I like SMU into that tier with
Are they
Carolina and
up
all them.
here? They're looking really. They're favored by. I think they're favored by 18 against Boston College this week. Who's
Yeah, they
not a
are.
hard.
Well, how many go per?
Crazy. That's crazy.
So we
But
get
yeah,
five. We get 5 per.
5 per. Yeah.
Well, I'd put Boise in that bracket as well, and maybe we can replace them. But I don't have Boise in any one
Down
head
here.
of that.
Okay. Notre Dame's
Well,
prejudiced
that's
even here, right? We're not
Yep.
putting them up.
Neutral there. LSU's probably there, even though their record, whatever, 6-3. But put them against a lot of teams not in the SEC, and they're going to win. So
And you're just putting them at 3.
I don't know. Where would you put them? You
Yeah.
said how good do you think they are?
A
They're probably going to
definite 2
finish.
is
They're
a
probably going to
definite 2
finish
is
9-3,
Tennessee.
8-4 in the SEC.
A definite
Yeah.
2 is Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
I think personally, I hate to do it. I think
good.
yeah. What do you got?
What a weird team. What a weird team for having one loss.
And it
Tennessee.
comes down to I mean, really weird.
Oh no, they got talent out the wazoo. It's just they've played some weird games.
Yeah, it's who knows what's going. I mean, it's going to come down to them and Georgia. It's going to be a crazy.
All right,
game.
we got to start biting off. We got to start biting off some more.
I got Texas for sure in the 1 spot.
Reluctantly in the 1 spot. Yeah.
Okay, but you agree they're there? Because that would be my staunch. I can't really argue for them much, but it's hard to do. But Penn State, I think for sure. No way 1 for me. 2, maybe even 3. No, like yeah, you feel like you have to put them 2.
Nah.
They're darn close to 3.
Yeah.
Indiana's
slide
pretty
Clemson.
safe 3 because they.
By the way, we screwed that up because I'll take SMU or South Carolina. You might want to slide South Carolina up and put Clemson into the 4 because that's just me.
I'm fine with that completely. You know,
they played tomorrow. Well, they're going to play, but if they play tomorrow, that's who I like.
We can always switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's all these tier 2s. Well,
we reluctantly put Ohio State in. I mean, they're going to take any team.
I want to
be.
I want to put them at tier 2 so bad. I don't want to put them at 1.
I know,
I think
but
a neutral site. I think they didn't blow out teams they should have blown out. They lost to. I mean, that was my main thing. I think Ohio State might not be the top 5 team.
Do you have Bama in tier 2?
if the Ohio State was gonna be down here, I would go here and here, which looks crazy, but I
You're
would do
not.
that.
You're putting one in. All right.
But we can switch. This is what I would do. If you remove one of these, who do you remove? Georgia or Bama to
I
put
would
Ohio
remove
State?
Bama. I would remove Bama, but you don't want to do that.
That's fine. I can do that because they did lose 2 games. They lost to Vandy, who looked horrible last week. BYU, BYU has been unbelievable this year. Some of
Yeah,
the
but
wins they put up, yeah,
If they play
they
South
beat
Carolina,
teams. Yeah,
if they play South Carolina, LSU or Notre Dame, and probably Indiana, they're dogs to all of them.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
That's fine. You get the bend on that one, and then A and M. It
Miami's
depends
pretty
where you,
solid. Miami's pretty solid here.
and then you're putting A&M. No, you've had BYU up a tier two.
Who's
Why'd you move
who's
them to
the
3?
best? Who's the best team out of these 5 or A&M? South Carolina.
The
South
ceiling is
Carolina.
A&M.
Honestly,
The
South Carolina should
ceiling's
be up there.
A&M, but they bashed them in by 24. So I don't know.
Well, Notre Dame should have beat them by 30. Yeah, I mean,
Well, no, I thought you had BYU up 1, and then you put A&M in 3. That's the deal. Yeah, all
but
those
who's going to
SEC
win?
teams
No,
you got
but
beat up.
A&M's going to beat BYU, correct?
Yeah, but you're just yeah,
The only
sure.
thing we could ever change here is does A&M go down and does one of these 5 go up? All right, give me 1 second here.
That's good. I could live with that with what we've traded off.
We got a little situationship there. All right, so we're keeping A&M there.
Yeah, it's a little ugly that we have to, but we kind of have to
So that's what we
because they're
have. So that's
stealing.
what we think the best 5 teams in the country are, which I agree with. Um, Here, I'm pretty happy with these 5 here. Tier 3, Tier 4, and Tier 5. So I can't see anyone winning below a tier. Jeez, I
Tier
can't
3 would
see.
even be
I can't see anyone winning below a
tier
tier
3.
4.
Phil, tier 3 would be shocking if Notre Dame or BYU won it all, or Indiana,
No,
or if South Carolina snuck in at 9-3 and won it all. That would be unreal. So we know that.
there's no one below tier 2 that can win this
Yeah,
thing. But who knows? I mean,
yeah,
this is what we.
yeah. And if Miami, the only upside for Miami is right, they only have to win what 3
It's crazy.
games.
Yeah, it's crazy. The whole thing's nuts.
But
All right,
is
so
that
this is
team
our
going to get
thing.
down 20 to
We'll
a
put this
big
thing
team?
in here. We'll post this. This is our top 5 in no order.
Amazing.
5 in
It's
tier.
amazing. It's really going to come down to those
I think it's
matchups. I think
fair.
when you're
That's what we're
playing
gonna do.
3-4 games.
Um, let's see. So let's go back into this real quick.
And let's see how you have it now. Let's see the 1 through 12 just to see. Of course, it's going to all
I was gonna
change.
go back and do
It means
1 through 12.
nothing.
Look at this. Look at what we could get. And one game has to stand out to you of these of the first round matchups if this happens here. I mean, I'm sure it will. There's one
Well,
game
whoever
here.
plays
Like,
BYU.
oh my gosh, this is the game. If this happened, this is such a crazy on the first round matchups.
Yeah.
Oh, they're actually all of them, but no, there's one. There the horses versus the horseshoe down there, but
It all depends on the draw
so
because if you're
what atmosphere would be the craziest for a matchup for this what we have first round here? Just
well, pretty
crazy.
wild. I don't know if Northern Indiana would even know what's going to hit them by 30,000,
No,
40,000 Bama people coming in.
no, no.
Notre
So
Dame at
yeah,
Tennessee would be
exactly.
insane.
Yep.
Insane. Those colors, yeah, they're. I don't. They did play a
Imagine,
matchup like that, but
but I was saying that the whiteout here with Ole Miss being probably the better team, the whiteout with Penn State, that would be the
oh yeah.
ultimate unbelievable
Well,
atmosphere.
oh, you mean the potential later on?
Well, no, the
Yeah.
first
See,
round.
it's all. Yeah.
Right now, it would be
Well, no.
first round. It'd be Penn State, Ole Miss, right here. As
Oh,
of
well,
now,
over here. Your
if you never,
cursor's in a different spot than mine.
yeah. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
over here.
Oh,
So,
okay, here I got
yeah,
it
yeah.
now. I got it.
But that's
That
what's
would
going to
be
happen in the obvious matchup pool. You're going to look at this and say somebody's got the best path, and to me, Ole Miss, Penn State have the path. They get their tough game out of the way. Not that the others not, but you're thinking if I just beat Ole Miss on the road, or if I just beat Penn State on the road, and I got to go to BYU now, who most are going to think is a lesser opponent, and I'm 2 away from the ship. I like my odds there. Whereas the other one's a little more brutal task, I think.
It's going to be insane. I mean,
right? You know, it's the only game where you can say that's really disrespectful to BYU, but we're calling it like we all think it. Anybody would love to see them, right? I wouldn't love to see Miami. I wouldn't love if I'm Ohio State to go to Miami. I wouldn't want to play any of them, but that doesn't thrill me to do that. As a fan, it does. The colors, it does.
The craziest thing of this whole we can project.
And then if you're Texas, you're like, please, dear goodness, could Indiana upset Bama even at home and come to our place? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
the matchups are going to be huge.
11 games, right? Everyone has to lose. There's 11 games in the playoff. There's probably a good chance only one of these will happen, or two down the road. Like everything's going to change. Yeah. That's what's so fun. It's crazy. It's going to be insane. I mean,
now you know why. By the way, another interesting thing, and maybe we'll look back at this in 8 weeks, and it'll have made some sense. But I keep going back to Ole Miss. They have Florida, and then they have Mississippi State. They better not throw up on those, and they're in right now. They get a idle this week, and then 2. Hear me out. If Bama doesn't lose, they don't pass Bama, and then if Tennessee holds serve, right, and or Georgia somehow, they probably wouldn't jump them, but if Tennessee holds serve and Texas does, you're avoiding the SEC championship game, and you're just getting more time off, and you get to go on the. If you have to go on the road, you're probably going to go on the road anyway, unless all these teams lose. I'm just looking at. I'm just looking at paths though.
Well, I know,
and thinking your path is right.
The tiebreaker to get to the championship it's head to head. The SEC is head to head, and then it's common opponents, and then the fourth tiebreaker, which it could come down to, I think it favors Bama. The teams you played against, their highest ranking. It's too early to even talk about any of this because everything's going to change drastically by the time the noon games are over. It's insane.
No, I understand. Yes, but I mean, we got to look at it. Yeah. Anyway, the whole thing's going to look totally different. And I guess the question to ask now would be: we're just throwing all this out there. Who do you see here that you don't like being in at this point? Not the seed, but who do you look at here and say, I don't think they're in?
By the end of the season?
Mm-hmm.
And Boise's still going to have to play their championship game. Might be UNLV, might be whatever. But so BYU is looking really good. If they don't get in, could it be Kansas State? Could it be someone else? I mean, I would say. Well, I think I would predict Georgia would win, would beat Tennessee and win out, but I don't know. I mean,
Bama something tells me also that Miami's just going to find a way out of this thing. The Clemson will get back in this. That's just what they do, even though they haven't been that top tier team over the last few years.
That's the other crazy thing is it could be Miami, Clemson, whoever's in that. That championship game is just winner makes it.
Yeah, winner makes it.
So we'll see.
Loser out.
We don't know who the winners. Yeah, but SMU is going to be in it probably. So it's not going to be Clemson, Miami. It's going to be one of them. I mean, SMU plays Boston College, Virginia Tech or Virginia, and
does SMU have the clearest path?
SMU, well, they're in if they it doesn't matter because they can't win. They can't make it unless they win the ACC. So the path to get in the
I mean getting in. They do because they're there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean they're there.
Clemson still has South Carolina, but it's not going to affect. Obviously, not going to affect getting in. But the tiebreaker is Miami right now. And they play Wake and Syracuse. So it's looking like an SMU Miami championship, which I think will be a really good game.
Do you imagine SMU? Hold on. Do you imagine SMU just wins it out, gets in, and then whether BYU stumbles or another team gets in, and SMU's the 3 seed? Amazing.
Oh, you mean
Well, what? Yeah,
over BYU? Yeah, over
over BYU or the other Big 12
or
winner.
something. Yeah, yeah. There's
They're going
too
to be
much.
higher. Their SMU very well, if they won out, would probably be higher than a one-loss BYU. Probably, in my take, higher than a one-loss Colorado. Colorado can't pass them 4 spots going in, even if they went out, right? And then
Yeah,
Kansas State
Colorado.
in the same vein. So anyway, all
Going
what ifs.
crazy with
But
tiebreakers. We really need an extra week to
well, no,
have
you really
more.
need
We need less
you.
scenarios to talk about because there's a 10 million scenarios. It's like we're mid-season. That's how crazy it is with these 20 some teams now to get in.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
There's
give you
no
one
really
here
any.
that would be. I'm going to give you one
And
here that would be
Colorado
nuts.
still has Kansas. Colorado still has Kansas. They still have Utah. They still have Oklahoma State, who's horrible this year.
Let me give you one that would upset the whole apple cart, right? This would be awesome for college football and all. You're going to have Army 7 o'clock at night on the 23rd next week at Notre Dame. They took your Notre Dame team out. Then hold on. Then they're vying at an outside spot, and Notre Dame's out, so another whole spot is in. But
Another
that
team
means
comes
another
in.
week.
Correct. Correct.
Well,
Another team
sure.
comes in.
So let's say this in a crazy scenario we didn't think about. Could this happen? And I got to look at the schedules, right? We work during the week. Could Colorado run it? BYU stay undefeated, and then Colorado beats BYU, and BYU has one loss. They got to be in. They're 3. They can't drop to 13 or 12. And then Colorado's in, and then Notre Dame's out, and then holy gosh, yeah.
What you're saying? Oh, so what you're saying there is so
Oh,
BYU is ranked whatever. Just say they're ranked. Well, they're not 3 in the rankings.
3. They're
Fine.
3 now.
No, but not in the rankings.
No,
They're 3 in the
no, but
seeding.
what are they? What are they? 5?
They
I didn't.
are they're 6 in the rankings. So to say they're 5, right? And they play that you can't
Well,
lose their spot. So it comes down to
well again.
so does BYU or Notre Dame get in? If Notre Dame loses there,
So
does BYU or if Tennessee loses to Georgia, is it BYU or Tennessee? That
well,
would
it's
be the
like the
crazy.
Indiana. It's like the Indiana problem. Let's assume Indiana loses to Ohio State and they finish 11-1. What are you doing with them?
Well, they're
Same thing
probably
with
going to be.
BYU. Well, they might be in the Big 12. They might be in
Oh, they're
they're
not.
not going to be in the Big 10 championship game.
So
Even
who do you
Oregon
pick?
could lose, and they'd be in.
So
Doesn't
Indiana
matter.
beat nobody. So who do you pick? Indiana
Indiana,
or
BYU, both one loss.
or BYU makes the
Army,
championship, loses, or
undefeated Army.
even forget Army or Tennessee loses to Georgia, they're 10-2.
Well, here's the issue. Colorado could be 14, and they're in if they win. They might not be 9.
Right, right.
That sounds like awesome
BYU's
chaos.
out. The whole thing.
But is BYU out if they went undefeated and lost the last game by 3?
Well,
Is
who do you pick?
Indiana out if they ran
Who
the
do you pick?
table and
Who would
lost
you
by
pick?
3 to Ohio
Would you pick
State?
BYU or would you pick Tennessee at 10-2 if they lose to Georgia? And then
I know what I would pick. I know what most people would pick, but
Tennessee.
I don't know. That would be your big argument, and everybody going home and saying, Herbie said that if they played on the field, Tennessee's better than BYU. Yeah, the whole country thinks that. But I don't know. And
That
if you haven't heard from Tennessee for a couple weeks.
BYU beating SMU was huge in week 2. Then remember they
Oh,
beat
yeah.
Kansas State 38-9. That was huge.
Yeah. Well, it's huge because it didn't mean anything to SMU because they rolled it, and so has BYU. So it couldn't have gone the other way around. You wouldn't have had that scenario.
So we don't. The whole point of this show is we don't know what's gonna. The whole point of this is
No, my point is I would love there could be we think there might be 2 replacements in here and just swap conference champions at 3 and 4, right? There could be 5 different.
there could be
Right?
5
I mean, if you're not rooting, I mean, only switch I stay tried and true my whole life. Only change I ever disloyal move I ever remember making in my life was rooting for Navy growing up and then switching to Army about 5 years ago, and they won that game in the snow. So if you're not watching Army Notre Dame,
I never switched
I
to
did.
Army. I'm still Navy. I
I
never switched to
did. I
Army.
did. That's my one flop in life. I think in all of life.
In life.
Yeah. Yeah, never went from blondes to brunettes or anything like that, or switched a team or bailed on anything. No, it's always,
Great,
nope. One bail in life.
And then that's hilarious. Then there's the Texas A&M's, oh my,
yeah. Now we're just having fun with it. I mean, it's wild. It's wild.
We don't know. We
We'll go
did our
back to
rankings. I want to go back to we did our rankings. Who's the best teams that we think are the best teams in the country? Now that I stand by. I think we came up with a pretty good thing. The rest, we don't know
sure.
what's going to happen. I mean, this is what I think. Well, both of us think like this is the best five teams in the country right there. I'm completely fine with that. The only thing that could be a maybe is Alabama over Ohio State. I think. This is going to be crazy. So let's get into. You want to go into a couple of picks this week, and then we'll recap
Yeah, let's
next
do
week
our
and
picks
see
for
what
the week.
happens.
Yep. Yep.
So all right, so we'll go over. So Weeze over there is 9-7-2, and I am 11-9. So technically, I'm up by this smallest percentage points because the two wins, we both went 2-2, and the two ties I'm up barely, but it's neck and neck. We're both over 500. Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do picks for the week, and we'll reconvene next week. So
All
I'm
right.
going against what I normally do. Oregon at Wisconsin. I would love normally taking the 14 with Wisconsin. Jump around, whatever they do up there. I got Oregon minus 14. I hate to do it, but I think they got Oregon minus 14. Then I got
All
Tennessee
right.
getting 10. I don't like them outright necessarily against Georgia. I think Georgia beats them 10. I think Nico comeback game. He's a little banged up. I like their defense still. I think Tennessee covers the 10. And I got Texas given 13 and a half. Let me check something real quick. Let me go into my super pick here. Is I got Syracuse getting 9 against Cal. I got them winning the game
You love
there.
that.
So we'll
You
see
love that Q's
if
team. Biggest spread of the year, I think, outright. So
we'll see
good
if
job.
Cal McCord. We'll see if he can figure
Good
something
on
out.
you for going out on a limb.
That is because we usually pick ones that has to be
It
30
is.
points or over. I'm going
It
9
is.
points.
All right.
They're
Good.
always in game. Syracuse with McCord. They're always battling. He'll either have
Good.
5 touchdowns or 5 picks, but we'll find a way to make
Yep.
it close at the end. And then yeah, so and then Texas against at Arkansas minus 13.5. Just the way better team. I wouldn't mind if some of these were close at the end and upsets. It'd be fun to watch. I just don't see it happening this week when Oregon, Texas have to make a stance. I think Tennessee keeps it close, and Syracuse could beat them money line there.
You love your Q's. So good
I
pick
don't like
there.
you kind of like Syracuse. I don't even like them at all that much.
We've liked their football team this year.
Their colors,
So
their anything, their state, their anything. I hate
yeah,
them, but I like
some people that went there might not be your favorite.
Well, Quint Allen,
Um.
remember the guy that had the crazy touchdowns in? He went to school with
Yeah.
Trout, or he went to he
Millville.
was a
Yeah,
Millville
Millville.
guy.
My spot down there. Yep.
All right, so
All
what do
right.
you
Good.
got?
Good picks. Really tempted to go LSU over Florida 4.5, but
I
that's
know
if Wagler doesn't play.
crazy, but it's like Nuss Meyer because we
Yeah.
both think Nuss Meyer's a great quarterback. Like, how can you not? But
Yeah. Yeah.
Florida,
Well, again,
you
I
can't.
won't do that, but also, if Lagway plays, all bets are off. So they would beat Georgia, and so whatever. Anyway.
They actually would have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they would have, no doubt.
Yeah,
So
no, they actually did.
okay, let's get into, not to steal your thunder, but I'm definitely eyed that up as well. I know they're playing the Georgia bounce back. If Tennessee loses by 2 touchdowns, I mean that can't happen to them this week. So I'll take Tennessee as well.
Okay, I thought you were going to say they are going to lose
Also,
by 2 touchdowns. You think they?
no. Close
They
game.
can't.
No,
Yeah.
close game, close loss. Georgia has to win,
Well,
and you're seeing the
Georgia
teams that
doesn't
have to
close
win
teams out
winning.
anymore. There's not the same
I
score.
know, but it goes in a schedule. Like Georgia had to, after the Bama loss, beat Texas, right? And Texas had to bounce back, and then Old Miss went down, and then Old Miss had to beat Georgia, and they did. Nobody thought they were, and then LSU again, even though their backs were against the wall, and they bounced back. Bama had to save their season, and they did. So the teams that are having to
And then
save their season
Beck,
are, and I
Carson
think
Beck's
Georgia has
dating
to
that
save their season, and they will.
Carson Beck's dating that Cavender twin from Miami, so his mind's all over the place. Who knows?
Oh yeah, he's probably got all the twins confused. That's been not a good problem to
He's a
have.
wacko. So who knows?
Yeah,
But yeah, sorry. So
exactly.
Tennessee, you got Tennessee getting the 10.
Yep.
10.
I also now I'm way off my picks. No, I like Colorado. Played an inspiring game.
They're
So
home,
did
yeah.
Utah. But I looked at some of the numbers, and I think this is a close one. It's a Colorado win, but I like Utah
right.
getting 11.5. They don't get
11.5.
embarrassed much. I know it's been a little different year. Give me them there to keep it closer.
Yep. Mark that down.
Then I'm going to go to Friday nights. I'm going against Arizona. That's well-deserved on their end. We can just call that outright, even though that's not my outright pick. But Houston, a slightly trending Houston to win that game. And then
you have Houston on that.
I have Houston, yes.
Even though you were obviously you were
Arizona. Arizona
guy kind
stinks.
of. They stink. Yeah.
Arizona stinks.
So Houston's getting 2.5 or something. If you go 2.5.
No, Arizona's giving 1.5.
Okay, so Houston +1.
And then I'll take another trending team, even though the record's not great. On the road Friday night, I will take UCLA outright. That's my dog. Getting 4.
I forget who they play.
Washington.
Okay, +4 outright. +4 outright. And that's it.
Yep.
So I got Oregon, Tennessee, Texas. Q's money line. We just got Utah, Tennessee, Houston with the spreads, UCLA outright. We haven't even delved into this season yet. It's the next.
We'll make up for it in the next 4 weeks. It's been good.
The next week, who knows what's gonna happen? Middle of next week, we'll recap back, see what happened. Let's see where we stand on our thing here, our tier power rankings. McAdams power rankings there, not in order, but tiered 1 through 5 tiers. And we'll see. It should be amazing. With our teams being out, there's enough fun left to be had somehow. Should be awesome. So.
Well, the way they're going to get this whole system, that's how it's working, is the games that matter now, right? Which are more. You can't argue that, whether you're a purist or not. And then there's more games. So there's more games. Just like if you make a series of 3, baseball to 5 or 5 to 7, there's more games. So that's fun.
And obviously there's more playoff games, but it's not like, there's more Big Ten. But the whole season this year is there's just more SEC matchups. This is the craziest thing ever. With every week is wait, hold on. Yeah. Georgia played Tennessee, Texas. Who did they not play?
Yep.
You get confused. You're like, wait.
Ole Miss, they still play Tennessee. They've had a gauntlet. It hasn't been Florida's, but it's been close.
Georgia, but they lost. It's crazy.
Yep.
And then you get the scrubs like us. Texas.
Well, again, everybody's had their big ups and downs. I mean, Ole Miss was left for dead a couple weeks from now. You guys are going to buy me a hat. How much I talked about them. Bama had their dead and gone. Georgia's 3 days away from being buried. Tennessee is on the top of the hill in that conference, and they haven't impressed me since the Oklahoma game. So, it's wild. The only team that's flying under the radar, just keeps winning, only non-loss team that really, again, at that level is Oregon, and nobody's even talking about them.
Yep. So
because the SEC is taking that away.
Yeah, crazy. One final thing. Who's your pick to win at this point, to win it all?
Well, we didn't do the full pick before the year.
We might agree.
We didn't do the full picks before the year. So whatever you can, it's on my word. I had Oregon before the year. That pick looks great. It's trendy. I never like to go with the obvious. I'll take Ole Miss.
My pick to win it all right now is Ole Miss.
Is Ole Miss? Yeah, that's wow. Look at
that. With 2 losses sitting there, dead to rights.
Well, you know how pissed we're going to be if they're 11 the next 3 weeks and they get bounced.
Jack started a little mid-season, whatever.
Yeah.
He looks great, and their defense is unbelievable.
My wish list now that Florida doesn't matter.
Oklahoma was beating Ole Miss second half, controlling it a little bit. We got
Well, that's because they just didn't respect them.
But the pick has nothing to do with Oklahoma. It is what it is.
Yeah. So Ole Miss winning it all, and then Army not backing in but forcing their way into the playoff would be my 2 wishes going forward.
That would be so fun. Imagine that game. Back in Philly playing that.
You imagine, they wouldn't have to be 12, right? The group of 5. There's one thing. I got this thing buttoned up pretty well. I don't think the group of 5 has to be the 12 seed, though. I could be wrong. I didn't think the group of 5 had to be the 12 seed. But either way, So just seeing Army go to play at Tennessee or Bama or whatever, Penn State, any of these would be awesome.
Imagine?
No.
Can you imagine? Anything.
Be shaking in their boots. They got to play the triple option, favored by 16. That's all Penn State needs is to be the 5th seed go host Army, favored by 16.5, and they're tied at halftime. Anyway, what if still won't happen? Let's see him. Let's see him beat. Can't move the ball again. Move it against every other team on earth. So anyway, yeah,
all
great,
right, well,
great job. Way to go, way to go,
great
dude.
episode. A lot going on. Weather's changing a little bit. Still
right on.
Raining now, but
right on.
All right, we'll be next week. We'll go over the big games from this week. We'll see how our picks did, and yeah, we still got a long way to go. And then previewing the playoffs and all that's gonna be insane. So, all right,
cheers.
We'll see you. We'll see you soon, and happy mid-November. Awesome.
Powered by Riverside.
All right, great. All right, so now straight.